It's episode 27, and we're talking about rehearsals today. It's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get rolling, be sure to go online to worshiponline.com/podcast and put your email address in, because we're still giving away annual subscriptions. This isn't just a few days. This isn't a month or two. This is a full year subscription to Worship Online. So you can go sign up for that. We're still giving those away. Be sure to check it out. Let's roll that intro. All right, we're talking about effective rehearsals today, which is really kind of a fun one. I'm pretty pumped about it. Last episode, we talked about sound checking, line checking, ways to make that a little bit easier. But today, we're talking about the full-on rehearsal with your team, and I'm joined with Shaylin Palmer, CEO of Worship Online. Woo-hoo. And my name's Brenton, and I'm excited to talk just about some step-by-step practical things to making a worship rehearsal flow. And you had some really good thoughts when we were talking about this before. So just dive on in.
Yeah, I'm just going to roll with it. Whatever comes to mind is going to come to mind here.
I love
it. So first is organization.
Which we are
first
very organized.
Is organization, which is it's kind of funny because no, for real, organization is extremely important. Whatever you're gonna do with your rehearsal, make sure you know what you're gonna do with it beforehand, and stay organized and consistent every week. Yeah. So the more, maybe you might not just nail this. I think when you first implement a system, it might take twice as long the first time you do it, but the more you do it, you're gonna just shave minutes off of it because everyone knows and things are just gonna go faster and faster. So, but here's some general ideas. Whatever you end up doing, though, just stick with it and be organized. So
that's really good.
I think having a good, whenever everyone first gets there, make everyone, whatever your rehearsal time is, leave a good 5 to 10 minutes to let people just mingle and talk. They probably haven't seen each other in all week, and they want to just talk. If you don't give them that time and space, they're gonna be, you got the guitar player walking over behind the drum guy talking to him during the middle of rehearsal because, hey, what'd you do last night? You know what I mean? So I think that's a good idea, just to let people just talk for a little while. Include that into your rehearsal time. I think that's important. And
we always had kind of that saying, there's call time and then downbeat. So call time, get there, hang out, grab some coffee in the back or something, and then downbeat is when we're starting.
Right when you start,
if it's 10-15 minutes before, that way you do have kind of that relational time. Obviously, if it's a rehearsal earlier in the week, you're allowing for people to be able to kind of get their head in the game. If it's Sunday morning rehearsal and you're getting ready to start a service or something, it kind of just gives you that buffer and kind of makes sure everyone's awake.
And it's respecting, when you add it into the schedule, you're respecting people's time, because it's easy to just go and go and go. But
and you don't want to be that worship leader who's always super strict. Because I think that anytime you have that kind of real tight sort of strictness, it kind of keeps everyone on edge, and you want everyone to feel relaxed and comfortable. And if you've got that buffer time, it just feels better. But another thing that I might even throw in there is an end time. It's kind of hard, sometimes when you're having to work new songs, so you want to allot for that. But if, say, rehearsals at 6:30, maybe your end time's at 8:30, and you're going to be done at 8:30. So if 8:30 comes around and you're still not quite done with the rehearsal on a Tuesday night or something, you're still going to call it, because you do respect their time, you respect their family's time, and that goes a long way. So all the more reason to start on time, to get there on time. But those things have always kind of worked well in different scenarios where we've got larger teams, things of that nature. And then obviously, if something's just really not coming together, you check with everyone. Hey, we've got about 5 minutes left. Is it cool if we stay another 5-10 minutes longer tonight, and just make sure everyone's cool? Or if someone has to bounce out, you let them do that. It kind of allows for it not to just go for 4 hours. And everyone's just wiped out.
It's the same just having a meeting with you all. It's so important to have an end time. One of the respect people's time, and it's so easy that you get a bunch of people together, they just talk forever, and meetings just go forever.
Exactly. So I think that one's really good. Another big one's communication. Like you were talking about organization, it's good to be able to communicate what you're going to do ahead of time. So if you're walking into rehearsal and you've got a new song you got to play, and you know everyone's going to be having to learn that before they get there. It's always kind of a good idea to just have it ready to play. Like just listen through it as a refresher real quick before we go. And then kind of walk everyone through. Maybe you have that 10-15 minute buffer, and then when you start, pray together and then talk through how rehearsal is going to go. Like we're going to hit a familiar song just to make sure we're all sound checked and feeling good. And then we're going to, you know, go through and tweak whatever we need. And then we're going to hit the new song off the bat so that we can kind of take the most time with it. And then from there, it's just, we're going to walk through the set, work on any transitions, make sure everybody feels good, or if there's any questions or thoughts or anything like that. It just kind of helps, I think, because you could be so consistent at the same thing every week that people just kind of expect that. But when you've got, say, a new guitar player who comes in who's never been at a rehearsal before, now they know that we're at least going to get a brief before we start, you know, of some sort. So it's kind of nice.
You don't go into battle without a plan. Right. You know, you can't just throw everyone up there and let's just go, just start playing, see what happens. You have like a pre-rehearsal meeting where you can just talk, hey, this is how rehearsal's going to go. We're going to play this song, this and this song. Hey, this song, we'll start rehearsal with this one because we already know it. Everyone knows it. It's going to get us in it. And then, but this song here, we're going to do this section of the song and repeat, just whatever, you know, like make sure everyone understands, okay. And then we can go back and touch on anything else as we go. If you're not super familiar with something in the moment, we will always come back to it, or however you want to do it. I think that just having a good 15 minutes conversation about how everything's going to go beforehand is critical and the foundation of how your rehearsal is actually going to end up going.
Yeah, not to just like blow it off because it's, I think we said it, but it's something that I think is really important, is like praying together as a team, worship together as a team too. We always kind of went about that mindset when you go into a rehearsal, like worship through that rehearsal, because God might start to speak through those songs even in the moment before you're leading, you know, to where it's like, oh, I really feel like we need to go into the bridge of this song, or we need to like switch this song out, or we need to do something. Then you can feel those things when you're really engaging in the presence of God in rehearsal, because sometimes it's easy just to play music in rehearsal, but pray together, get your heart saturated with the presence of God, ready to just encounter whatever he's wanting to do in the service you're preparing for. And it also makes a personal connection with your team. You know, if you've got best friends who are on stage or guys that you've only met once or twice, like pray together, ask them, you know, what are things we can pray about? Like, does anybody have anything? Like, it just kind of goes beyond show up to practice. You know, it's not quote unquote garage band practice. This is like we're worshiping together and going into something really powerful.
An important thing to note too, since you just said that, we haven't mentioned this, but we probably should have. There's a big difference between practice and rehearsal. We're talking specifically about rehearsals, and whether that's your rehearsal on a weeknight or maybe you're rehearsing a couple hours before service starts. Either way, I think both of the format here works a lot for that rehearsal practicing. And I think we're also assuming a lot that the musicians show up prepared already. They already know the songs. If they don't know the songs already, that's a whole
we've talked about that before on the podcast.
We have,
because practice is definitely separate. That's on you individually to make sure that you're prepared for rehearsal. And that's what we're Spawn Line's here for. I mean, we're really a resource for you to be able to learn and practice. But when you go into rehearsal, it's go time. Like, you're ready on the songs. And I think that's it's just a good mindset to have if you're a player, you know, just as long as you have, you know, the set list ahead of time, you should be able to show up to rehearsal and crush it. So.
And then I think that somewhere in that mix, depending on what you think works best for your team, there should be a sound check, obviously, which we talked about in the last episode. So maybe do your sound check after that meeting. Let people mingle and greet each other, talk for 10-15 minutes and say, hey, all right, let's go directly into sound check. We're going to start with the drums, then we're going to move to this. That way you can just say it, go up on stage, sound check goes smoothly and great. And another cool tip that that works really well for the worship leader is to, and the worshipers, people on the front lines, is to turn around and face the band. I think that's huge. Like, the worship leader is playing his guitar, he's not facing away, he can turn around and face the band, be able to watch and look at people so everyone feels more connected. That way, face the band, that way you can lead and direct like that. I think that's
great. I love it.
And then after that, just start working through the songs. Like I mentioned before, that starting with a song that's familiar to you is great, because that way everyone gets in the zone. It's also great for sound check, because if you get everything checked, let's just play through this one. Everyone kind of already knows this song. It's not a new song. Start with that one and then move from there, like chronological order of your actual set, hitting the different songs, spend time on them, just play through the song. If anyone has any questions, most of those should have been answered in the meeting beforehand.
Sure, yeah.
But, still leave a little bit of a space. Obviously, if something doesn't sound right, you can address it and stuff like that. So
yeah, absolutely. Take it kind of a song at a time. And at the end of the song, you can address whatever you need to, and then work the transitions. And it's awesome. I think if you guys have any sort of ideas or things that really work well for you that maybe we haven't mentioned, please shoot those over to us, because we've been asking for that more and more. We've had more and more response, which has been really cool, just to be able to see what's working well for people or different ideas. Yeah. So you can email us, you can leave us an iTunes review, you can hit us up on Facebook. But either way, we'd like to hear from you guys on how it works for you, or if you have anything you picked up from this that you want to start to use.
We can come back and do an updated episode of all the different ideas we got too.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I mentioned this in the last episode, but I think a really cool idea is like whenever you have, I've had the band do band rehearsal in one room, and then the vocalists go and they can practice their harmonies tight in a different room, separate. And then after the band has ran through the songs maybe once, and depending on how much time you have, the vocalists have gone through them once on their own, then everyone comes together. All band related questions are answered. All vocal related questions are answered separately. Yeah. So, and then everyone can come together. Everyone should have their questions answered. And then it just sounds beautiful, like a choir of angels, because everyone's just on the same page.
It's awesome.
Loving it, having fun.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah. And working on transitions is huge too. So don't neglect transitions. Like it's easy to stop. Man, that song was good. Let's move to the next one. Work on how you're going to flow during your set from the end of that song into the next song. And then in that end of that song to the next songs, work on those. Those are super important. And at the end, if there's anything else that needs to be addressed, if there's one song that was a little bit maybe not as tight as the other ones, rerun that one if you have extra time. And then even if you have extra time, like maybe create a little space just to worship.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure,
that could be a game changer for some people. You got extra time, let's just play this. Let's play the chorus of this song, and everyone get really tied on that and just worship.
Yeah, so good. Awesome. Well, hey, we love you guys. And if there's any other things that you have in mind or things that you've taken from this that you want to learn from, or any ideas, shoot them over to us. We'd love to hear from you. Our iTunes reviews are hitting hard, and we love seeing that, because it just shows how much this is really helping you. So please go on, leave us a review. And don't forget, we're giving away those annual subscriptions to Worship Online, which is it's a valuable resource for any musician who's trying to get into worship music, just to be able to go through the tutorials, the different blog posts online. I mean, there's so much there. So take advantage of it. Worshiponline.com and sign up at worshiponline.com/podcast for that giveaway. So we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks.